Well, hopefully we're back, everybody, and sorry about that. A little glitch in the system, but
Yeah, it kept
hopefully
kicking us
everybody's with
off.
me now, and we don't have any more issues going into the show. But hey, tonight's guest is a good buddy of mine from Pennsylvania. His name is Corey Brossman. Corey, how you doing this evening?
I'm doing great, Rick. It's great to see you again.
Good seeing you. Now, Corey, we're going to talk about something I love talking about. Well, equipment, especially bow hunting equipment, but we've never had a guest on where we could talk about just the mechanics of broadheads and what makes a great broadhead, how do you tune your bow to shoot a broadhead, on and on and on. And Corey is an expert in broadheads, really, and he also has his own show, Interlock Out There TV. Is that right? Did I get that right?
Yep, yep, yep.
And where does that show air, Corey? Where do you air?
So currently we've got 5 TV shows, but the main flagship show is Interlocks Out There. It's currently airing Q3 and 4 on the Sportsman Channel. We've been on there for 16 years. And then we've got a number of other shows that all benefit the broadheads. We have a bow fishing show, a trapping show, which is just something I'm passionate about. We got a show about my kids and getting more youth involved. And then we got one called Corey Stories, which actually takes a look back when I was a cameraman, where you and I met. It kind of goes back to the old days, and I just tell old stories and things of that nature. And just have a lot of fun in the hunting industry. Not only do I enjoy promoting and building broadheads, but just getting out in the great outdoors and meeting a lot of people and staying in contact with my old friends.
Yep. Now Corey comes from Pennsylvania, and I think you're around the Harrisburg area. Is that right?
Yep, yep. Just southeast of it, about 45 miles, in a little area called Wyomissing in southeastern Pennsylvania.
All right. Before we get into broadheads, I think I saw a picture with you and your son on a Kansas deer hunt. Is that right?
Yep, we just rolled in a couple days ago from the youth season there in Kansas. It's a great thing that many of the states do to allow the kids to get out there before the adults get out there. Gives them an opportunity to get in the outdoors and to get some unpressured deer. And my son Brody's 9 years old and was blessed to shoot a beautiful mainframe 8 with a couple kickers. He calls it a 10, and had some velvet on it. Beautiful buck, and we had a lot of fun together. Got some great video, and now I'm back home here doing other things.
Yeah, that's what it's all about to me. Anytime you're able to get a kid out, and I always recommend people do it. In fact, I'm taking a youth out. Our youth season starts this coming Saturday, so I'm
Oh,
taking
nice.
a youth out. I took them out last year, and we filmed a pretty nice deer hunt, and hopefully we're going to do the same. But anyways, Corey, you are a representative of Interlock Broadheads, and I have been shooting Interlock Broadheads for quite a few years, and I
Yeah,
love them. So let's get into the meat and potatoes of the show, and let's talk
sure,
broadheads. So
sure.
let's first talk about the debate: mechanical versus fixed blade. What's your take on that?
Let's be honest, Rick. Every broadhead manufacturer makes a great broadhead, and you could go out with a field point, and if it's well placed, you can kill a deer. Where my opinion on the mechanical and broadhead, it's what you prefer, what your bow is tuned for, and for me, it's what I'm going after. Um, if I'm going after big elk, buffalo, which I've shot, if I'm going to Africa and I'm going to go after, eland or something big, personally, I'll use a fixed head. Uh, do I think you can get it done with an expandable? 100%, absolutely. But I love that cut on contact style broadhead for bigger animals. When it comes to deer and turkey, things of that nature, an expandable works really, really well. Crossbow hunters with these crossbows that are doing 400 feet per second, 300 feet per second, and faster. Uh, I like that expandable, more aerodynamic. A lot of guys let's face it, they wake up. Uh, they may not have shot their bow all summer, or maybe they just bought a brand new bow, and they didn't take it and get it professionally tuned. They go out, they pick it up, they're comfortable with it, they shoot it, and that's where I think an expandable comes in. It flies truly like a field point. Um, the difference in manufacturers is if you have a good fixed blade broadhead, it should fly like a field point, and many of the interlock broadheads, as well as other manufacturers, do. But to answer your question, Rick, for me personally, if I'm going deer hunting, which I do most of the time, I'm going to use an expandable. If I'm going for elk and anything of that nature, then I'll put one of our fixed blades on.
Are you there, Rick?
Yeah, I am. Someone was calling my phone and it knocked me right off. Am I good? Am I back?
Yeah. You're good.
My
We got you,
daughter,
Rick.
you'd think they would know by now that I do these shows every Wednesday, but never fails. Someone calls me.
That's awesome.
But all right, so I know you were talking about mechanicals, and I love mechanicals. I've shot them for years, and you're right.
Yep.
I tell people this all the time. If you hit a deer where you're supposed to, any broadhead is gonna do exactly what you want it to. So
Yep.
I like the mechanicals because not only do they fly like my field points, so I can practice with my field points and not wear out my broadheads and my targets, but I'm confident with them. And if you hit even an elk, if you hit them where you're supposed to, mechanicals aren't always the greatest on big bones. If you hit an animal in the shoulder, it's not a great shot for a mechanical. But then again, it's not a great shot for a fixed head either. So, but
Right.
the other thing that impresses me, you guys have a line of fixed head broadheads that are tunable. And talk about that just a little bit, because that is an excellent feature.
Absolutely. So, some of our broadheads have what we call the BAT technology. It stands for blade alignment technology. For instance, the Carbon Tuner or the Slice, the Falcon, they're all able to be tuned to the fletchings. And if you go to interlock.com, you can see more on this. And how it works is we'll use the Slice, for example. The Slice is the broadhead when I go for elk or things of that nature is the one I'll screw on. You loosen up the tip a little bit and you can turn the whole ferrule and line the blades up with your fletchings. Now, a lot of people, will say, oh, well, all my arrows fly the same, blah, blah, blah. In my opinion, it's not so much that you line them all up with the fletching. That's just a great starting point. I want my arrows all the same in my quiver. So when I let the arrow go, theoretically it should catch air the same each and every time, and that way the arrow goes to the same spot. That's why a field point works so well, because no matter which way your fletching is, the arrow is very aerodynamic. When you put some blades on the front of that, if one blade is at 12 o'clock and then the next one, the top blade, is more like at maybe 9 o'clock, you're going to catch air a little different. And unless you've got a finely tuned bow from Levi Morgan or someone that's really, really, really critical on each and every arrow shaft, it's going to hit a little different. Will you notice it at 20 and 25 yards? Probably not. But at 30, 35, in a little bit of a wind situation, maybe you're hunting antelope or you're somewhere where you got a crosswind, you will see a point of impact a little bit different. And that's why tuning your broadheads to your fletchings, or at least tune them all the same in your quiver, is so beneficial.
Yeah, and I'm glad you say that, because the reason that people used to tune their broadheads to their fletching is because it was a reference point, and that is
Exactly.
not near as important. I mean, it's a great sight to, it's easy to match, but like you said, you want every broadhead, if it's 3 degrees to the right of your fletching, you want them all the same, because
Yep.
theoretically your arrows should fly and plane all the same, because it's when they're different are you going to get different arrow flight. And then on top of that, if your arrow's not perfectly straight, or it's not as straight as some of your others, you may get some offset flight with that as well.
Correct.
So what
Correct.
so you're kind of a mechanical guy, and there's a new
Yep.
broadhead out. It's been out for a couple of years now, and I've shot several deer and several turkeys with it, and that's the Carnage. And I really like that. Let's talk about that just a little bit.
Yep, I actually got I'm sitting at my desk, and it's funny because I actually have a pack right here. So the Carnage is very unique for many reasons. Number one, it's a rear deploy broadhead, but the blades all are enclosed by an arrow wrap, which is basically a piece of vinyl. It's a fun broadhead when you buy them. They actually come with. I might even have these things open. They actually come with a bunch of different color arrow wraps. You can actually even get them custom. They're a lot of fun. You get them home, and it's basically like I don't want to say it, but it's kind of like rolling the old days, rolling a cigarette up. I mean, you just basically roll it, wrap it, put it on your bow, and go hunting. And when that broadhead actually hits what you're aiming at, it'll push the blades back. It'll tear through the wrap, and it leaves gaping big holes. I mean, just some giant holes, and great blood trails. Your animals will go a lot less. Works great on turkeys, deer. We've had plenty of guys shoot elk. We had a lady shoot a moose with them. So we've had great reviews with this broadhead, and very proud of it. Interlock did a great job in designing this broadhead and getting it out there. And it's what's on my quiver about 85% of the time is the Carnage.
All right. Paul
And
just
we
sent
lost.
me a message saying I'm frozen. Am I good? Are you seeing me, hearing me okay?
We can hear you.
I hear you. Great.
All right.
We
There
can't
you
see you,
are.
but
I
we
don't
can
know.
hear you.
Okay. All right.
Got you now.
So I might be frozen a little. Yeah, I like, you wrap, like you said, you wrap that broadhead. And now I was told that if you are a crossbow hunter, that you may want to just put 2 wraps on it. Is that correct?
Yeah, I mean, if you're shooting one of the Ravens or something that's really off the wall speed, you know, yeah, I would recommend possibly putting 2 wraps on. It'll tear through, no problem. We shoot Excaliburs, the 420 that I shoot. I wrap one on there, and I've never had a problem. Never had one come off on flight. The biggest recommendation I have that I do that we don't really talk about a lot is when I get into camp, if I fly in and I don't have some in my quiver when I get there, and I'm going to go ahead and wrap these and get them ready, I'll go over to the stove or just take a lighter, and I'll very lightly just heat up the broadhead just a little bit to get it to room temperature a little faster. It's just like if you're going to put a sticker on your car. If it's wet or if it's ice cold, it's not going to stick too good. But the air wrap that we've got, the material is really good. You can actually, I've done numerous talks and showed some things on YouTube, putting it in water. They don't come off once they're on there. Good, they don't come off. But I like to heat them up just a little bit. Even when I get them all wrapped up, I'll go over it, kind of like the old days when you would put wax on your bowstring. I'm not telling everybody to go out there with a torch and light up your broadheads by no means, but there's a little things that I found with that make it a little bit better than it already is. But there is not, and people ask me all the time, what's the best broadhead on the market? And even though I've been working for these guys for 20 years, I don't think anybody has the best of anything. I think everybody's got good products out there. Do I think ours are better than some? Absolutely. But I think it's the best, maybe for certain things it might be, but it flies true. When you hit them where you're supposed to, the deer bleed good or the animal bleeds good. They don't go far. Very rarely do we have problems with blades breaking, when you hit just a rib. It's been a great little head for us the last couple years. We're very proud of it. Everything's American made. Interlock's a small company in Lakemont, Georgia. And the Sullivan family, have blessed me with a great career. And, of course, I want to say they're the best, but, I don't think anybody's got the best of anything. I think everybody's got a place in this industry. But I would put our broadheads up against anybody's, and we have. And, we're very proud of them. We think they're a great little head. No matter if you're shooting, one of the fixed heads like the Stainless Extreme, or if you're shooting a tunable broadhead, we've got a lot of options. Anybody, if you're shooting a recurve, if you're shooting crossbow with the crossbow series, we have a little bit of everything for everybody. And having guys like you shoot them and promote them have been great for us. And we sure enjoy the pictures and love hearing the stories of the big ones that you guys get with them.
Good. Hey, Paul, am I still frozen?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I'm gonna ask Corey a question, then I'm gonna sign off and sign back on and see if that works. But Corey, talk a little bit about people. I know one of the reason or a question I get asked, and I have an owl like right above me that's hooting. Driving me crazy. I can't see it, but um, how do you tune? I know you can take the bat system and you can adjust your broadheads, but someone that is having problems getting their their fixed blades to shoot right, what are some of the reasons for that? I want you to talk about that. I'm going to sign off and sign back on and see if that works, but I'll let you talk about that. I'll be right back.
I'd tell them to buy a new bow. um, Man, that's a great question. A lot of times it could be, FOC. It could be a lot of anything. And by no means am I a techspert when it comes to this. I've shot basically the same setup for the last for a very long time, and I have very little problems. I think what happens is a lot of guys try to get their bows a little faster. They try to add too much weight up front. Maybe they're trying to take away from stuff in the back. If you go and shoot an arrow that is tuned to your bow, and you screw on one of these 100 grain heads, you're not going to have problems. And if you do, there's something wrong. Whether your arrow is overspined, underspined, maybe you got a little too much. Some of these guys, and we make an insert that actually screws on. It's an outsert that kind of screws on. That adds more weight. Maybe you don't have enough weight. You got to add more weight. Maybe you got to take weight off. There's so many things that you can do. My biggest recommendation, if you're having trouble and you can't get one of our heads to shoot or one of your broadheads to shoot of your choice, is take it to a professional at a shop and let them paper tune it. See if that thing is shooting darts. Is it knock low, knock high? Is it kicked way to the right? Is it kicked way to the left? Does your rest need to be moved? Does your knock set need to be moved? There's so many things that go into it. Back in the day when I was a kid, I remember, we would shoot archery courses all year round, and you shot with field points. And then, come September, you'd start getting excited about deer season, and you would screw on your broadhead, and you would go out there and you'd have to resight your bow in because, heavens forbid it would fly the same because you had such a big gaudy broadhead, on the end of your arrow. And a lot of times they didn't fly the same. And back then, it didn't have the technology or the know-how that we have now. So for me, it was I had to shoot a broadhead like a fixed blade. Back in the day, it was the Rockets. Is what I kind of grew up shooting before I got with Interlock. And for me, it was throw the fixed blades away and get an expandable because I didn't know how to tune a bow, like many people don't. And to be honest, as fast, and I've worked in archery shops, as fast as things have changed with technology, there's so many little things that these guys know that I don't even know. That will make it better. So the best thing to do is literally take your bow, take your arrows, your broadheads, go to a shop like Mike's Archery, for example, and go in there and talk to the professionals. It's just like you have a car. Okay. Back in the day, everybody could work on a car. Nowadays, there's so many computers and different things about it. You have to take it to an expert, basically to get your dang oil changed. And it's no different with broadheads anymore. These bows are so fast, and there's so many things you can tweak on a bow and a rest, and so many things you can add to your arrow and take away from your arrow. So if you buy a bow and you think you got the right setup and it's working for you, don't change it. If it's not working for you and you've tried, moving your knock set, and you tried moving your rest, and you tried a different arrow spine, and you tried different fletchings, and it doesn't work, take it to a professional and let them do it. I'm pretty confident if you're shooting a normal setup and you buy a pack of our broadheads, no matter which one it is, it will fly true just like your field points.
Right. No, I agree 100%. So I'm back. Paul says I'm back. Okay. Look, I want to, before we go any further, you guys know what this
Your
means. This is
video
my
is still
Alpen.
frozen.
What's that?
Your video's not coming through.
There he
My
is.
video's not just my audio.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we'll run it with the audio then, and you can keep on Corey. He looks a little better than I do today. Anyways, I've been painting all day on the
Rick's
roof.
got a face for radio.
But I have. But listen, Corey has been cordial enough to allow us to give away 2 packs of Interlock broadheads on the show this evening, and we're going to do it the same way we do it every week, guys. I have in my hat, in my Alpen hat here, numbers, pieces of paper numbered 1 to 50. So now would be the time. Everybody that's on the show live right now, go ahead and send your number in. Be cordial to others. Don't wait for everybody to post their number and then knock them out by one. But just think of a number, post it, and we're going to draw this in about 5 minutes. And Corey's going to send out a couple packs of broadheads to the winner. We've had a lot of different winners the past couple of months, and we've had some really neat things, and this is no exception. These broadheads, if you're looking to shoot something different, or even
Corey,
if you're
if you
set,
have them, let's see them.
and I don't know which ones we're going to send out, but
we'll do 2. We'll make a. They can either do the Carnage for regular or the Carnage crossbow series. We've got. We'll send them right out to you guys.
Perfect. Those I love those new Carnage. I've shot. I shot 5 or 6 deer, I think, with them, and all the turkeys I've shot with a bow in the last 3 years have been with them as well.
Michael
And,
Giovanni he's disqualified.
he is. Why is that?
He said 1 through 50.
Mike, you got 30 seconds
man.
to come up with a better number.
Smart man.
So what are your hunts? So what do you got planned, Corey, going forward here this fall season?
Well, so Friday I'm leaving. We're doing a veterans hunt in New Hampshire. I'm taking my little boy up. He's got a lot of respect for veterans, and it's time that he gets to go on one of the hunts. And we're going to take some veterans bear hunting in New Hampshire. We're going to be using the bows and the crossbows with our Interlock broadheads, and we're really excited about that. As soon as I get back, we'll do some Pennsylvania hunting. One of the things I'm really excited about, a couple years ago I lost my pop-pop, and he was something special, and he never killed a deer with his bow. He's got an old Jennings shooting star that's been hanging in the house since I'm a little kid that he used to use, and I'm having it restrung, and I am going to go out and hunt deer with that old bow in honor of my pop-pop, and try to get a deer killed with that bow, and I can hang it back up with a little blood on it. And I'll do that here in Pennsylvania, and then I'm going moose hunting in New Hampshire. I got a moose tag for New Hampshire. My uncle and I are going to be going up there, doing a little moose hunting. And then from there, it's off to Kansas, where I'll be out with my good buddy, Jesse Dunlap. Been going there for a long time. And I didn't draw last year. We just were there a couple days ago with my son and getting things ready. I'm super, super excited about that hunt. And then we'll do some Kentucky, and I'm doing a hunt in Ohio, a new place in Ohio with a friend of mine, Dana. I'm real excited about. And then we'll see how things kind of fare, towards ATA show, and maybe I'll get to Indiana or do something else. But, mainly deer, fall turkey, bear, moose, really, really excited about this year. When you have as many TV shows, you got to get out and get a lot of content, different kinds of content. One thing about our show, if no one's familiar with it, it's not a show where I beat on my chest. I was brought up in Pennsylvania to have a lot of respect for the outdoors. And I've got to hang out with Rick and a lot of these great, deer hunters. And I think Rick, you're a lot like me. For me personally, I'm not out there trying to shoot the biggest, most mature deer on the property. A lot of people do. I just go out there, and when one walks in and my heart starts thumping, I let it fly. I'm not, I believe in deer management, and I respect a lot of that stuff, but man, anymore, it's just getting so sickening on social media. Listen to some of these other guys, bash so many people because they shot a 2-year-old or so what? Go out and have fun, and that's what our show's about. That's why I was brought up. That's why I'm teaching my kids, and it's just something I'm real proud of. I like to go out there and have fun, and if a 120-inch deer walks in and my heart's pounding, probably going to shoot it.
Yeah, no, hey,
and
I'm
I've killed
with you 100%, 100% on
Yeah,
that.
and I've killed some big deer. I mean, I've got a couple upstairs that are, well over Boone and Crockett that are taken with archery gear. So it's not that I can't do it. It's just, in order for me to kill a 180, a 130 can't walk out first.
That's the same with me. We all have the dream of shooting big deer, but here, and I live here in Iowa, and I can shoot multiple deer, but in order to shoot a 180-inch deer, you got to let 140 and 150-inch deer walk, and I can't do it. So
I can't either.
Unless they're not old,
Right, and I am no disrespect to anyone that can do that. In fact, it's a ton of respect. But at the same time, give us the respect too. Like I said, Interlocks Out There was built on having fun in the outdoors, respecting the outdoors, and teaching my kids to go out and have fun. If I hunt like Kansas, I'm hunting over a bait pile. Don't hate the bait. I that's just the way I am. I like sitting there and seeing deer, bringing all the does in, and then I shoot a nice buck. It's legal, and that's the way I am. That's what I do. If it's not legal, I don't do it. And these guys that go out and they put in these $1 million food plots and then mow them down, and there's corn sprinkled all over from the mower. I don't see that any different to me putting out 55-gallon drum of corn and sitting there. And
that's right.
Like I said, that's what our show's about. It's about having fun, little education, little bit of entertainment. And, back in the RHS days, for me, Ken Kemper taught me something, and I've never forgot. He said, Corey, no matter what, he said, don't ever forget this in TV world. He goes, you don't have to have anything overproduced. Make sure they can hear it, make sure they can see it, and make sure it's not shaking. And that's the philosophy I've had for over 20 years in my career. And it's gotten me to this point. I'm not nowhere near the top. Don't need to be. Don't need anybody to ask me for an autograph. I just want you to go out. If you watch the show and you enjoy the show and you seen that broadhead work, or you seen no different than you, if you're promoting a product and you've seen it work, then get out there and buy it and support that company. Like I said, Interlocks American made. We're proud of that small business there in Lakemont, Georgia, and they've been around for over 30 years making broadheads.
Okay. Hey, listen, we're getting close to running out, towards the end of the show. But before I go and draw a number here, tell us real quick, where can someone go and buy Interlock broadheads?
If you don't have them at your local dealer, your favorite place, ask for it. We are in some Bass Pros and Cabela's, Mike's Archery. But, if you can't find them and you really got to have them, you can go to our website at interlock.com. But if you don't have them in your store, ask for it, or call Interlock direct. But we like for you guys to go out to your local shops and support those local shops. So if they don't carry them, ask them about Interlock broadheads and get them to carry them.
There you go. All right, Paul, does everybody have their numbers in?
Yes.
All right, I'm going to draw one, and I'm not on. I'm not live, right? I mean, you can't see me?
No.
All right, so I won't hold the number up to that. So I've got my hand in the hat. I've got a number in my hand right now, and the number is number 24. That is the number I drew tonight, 24.
19.
Who do we have?
I can't. So far, 19 is Zachary.
Zachary.
26 is John Stone.
Is who?
John Stone. 23, Michael DiGiovanni. 25, Phil Smith. Right around it.
What, do we got a 23 and a 25?
Yeah.
Tell you what, let's give them both 2 packs of broadheads, Rick. How's that?
All right. That problem solved. We had this happen one other time, and
Yeah.
and our guest did the same
Not a
thing you
problem.
did, Corey. So we appreciate
Michael
that.
D. Giovanni with the 23, and Phil Smith with the 25.
All right,
Okay,
we're gonna get with those guys, and we'll send them each a couple packs of Carnage. You get me the information, we'll get them out to them, and hopefully
I'll get
they'll
it
kill
to
some,
you. You
some
guys,
gallons.
Phil and Mike. I know you're on my Facebook. And I've got your addresses, I think. But just make sure I have them. Remind me. I'll get them to Corey, where I can just send them right over to him, and we'll get those out. Anyways, guys, it is past time. Dinner's ready for me. I got to jump in the shower. I've been painting on a roof all day. We're painting a metal roof, and I've been running a sprayer, and it was windy, and I have paint everywhere. So, Corey, hey, I appreciate you coming on the show tonight. Hopefully you have some good luck this fall.
Same to you guys. It was great to be on here, and hopefully we can do it again real soon.
All right, sounds good. Guys, if everything goes as planned, we'll have a show next week. My guest is Mr. Lane Walker. He was on our show about a year ago. He's a children's hunting book author, has a ton of hunting books and fishing books for kids. Great read, believe me. And we're going to get him on. We had some audio problems a year ago, and I told him we'd get him back on. So if everything goes right, he'll be our guest next week. Corey, thanks again. Paul, thanks for running the show. Until next week on The Hunt with Alpine Optics, make sure you're there next week, 6 to 6:30. For now, I'm Rick White. Good night, everybody.